Here are the top stories for today, September 1st, 2020. President Duterte retains the General Community Quarantine or GCQ status for Metro Manila. The government assures accommodation for health workers being evicted due to discrimination. Former NBI Chief Gierran is tasked to cleanse Philhealth and amid allegations of corruption against its leaders. And hundreds of job vacancies in the government are available in the upcoming online fair. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. New quarantine status are being announced by the President, placing Metro Manila, Bulacan, Batangas, and the cities of Tacloban and Bacolod under GCQ. The latest quarantine classifications will take effect from September 1 to 30.
Iligan City Modified Enhanced Community Quarantine. Ang areas ng NCR, Bulacan, Batangas, Tacloban, Bacolod ay nasa General Community Quarantine. The rest of the Philippines is under Modified General Community Quarantine.
President Duterte assures healthcare workers that they will be provided with accommodation if they are evicted from their residences due to discrimination. He said the government must have a mechanism to help the frontline health workers as they have to be treated decently, especially with their sacrifices during the global health crisis.
Ngayong lahat na mga health workers na pinapaalis sa mga inyong tinitirahan because of the fear, unfounded, na mahawa ninyo ang may-ari ng mga bahay at yung mga kasamahan ninyo sa mga dormitoryo. If this happens, you can call directly the office of Secretary Galvez, and we will provide you with the necessary billeting and pati pagkain na. And we will choose a place nearest to where you are working. Sabi mo lang ang pangalan ng yung may-ari ng building, may-ari ng boarding house, may-ari ng ano, at I will call their attention publicly.
President Duterte announced a 1 billion peso educational assistance program for overseas Filipino workers or OFWs displaced by the COVID-19 pandemic. The president said that a qualified repatriated OFW can avail of subsidy for the tertiary education of one dependent.
Ngayon, dito sa effect ng COVID sa pag-aral ng ating mga anak, kailangan natin na tulungan, lalo na a tertiary education subsidy for dependents of displaced, non-returning, repatriated, or deceased OFWs due to COVID-19. The education subsidy will be given to one college-level beneficiary from a qualified OFW enrolled or is intending to enroll in state universities and colleges, local universities and colleges, and CHED recognized private higher education institutions in the school year 2020. Ang tulong po sa edukasyon sa mga anak nito is a one-time grant of 30,000 pesos. The project will be allotted with the amount of 1 billion.
President Duterte has named former National Bureau of Investigation Director Gierran as the new head of Philhealth. Gierran will replace Ricardo Morales, who resigned last week. He would be tasked to regain the public's trust in the state health insurer and ensure the proper use of its funds.
Si Gierran, he is a lawyer and an accountant. So palagay ko Sabi ko sa kanya, the next 2 years will be devoted to fight against corruption. Maghanap kayo ng mapakulong natin para may maiwan tayo sa kulungan ng mga... That goes for the NBI, pati Philhealth. Yung mga tao na ayaw tanggalin, bigay mo yung pangalan nila. I will send them a memorandum. I will ask them to report to me dito sa Malacanang. You know, if they are there for so long a time, the element of familiarity always enters the picture. Yan ang mahirap dyan. Kung matagal na, tanggalin na. Yung ayaw magtanggal, ayaw magpatanggal, mag-report kayo dito sa opisina.
Justice Secretary Menardo Guevarra vouched on the expertise of newly appointed Philhealth Chief Gierran. He said Gierran's administrative skills and fiscal prudence would help in wiping out irregularities in the state insurer. Guevarra, who heads the interagency task force investigating anomalies in Philhealth, welcomed Gierran's appointment to the post by President Duterte. Gierran, who is a former NBI chief, is a certified public accountant and a lawyer. He served as NBI Davao Regional Director before he was named as NBI Director in 2016. Gierran, as an NBI Director, launched an investigation into allegations of ghost dialysis treatments charged to Philhealth. He stepped down from the post upon his retirement in February. Still to come, hundreds of job vacancies in the government are available in the upcoming online fair. And 5 hospitals are being eyed for COVID-19 clinical trials. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Sa matinding laban natin sa Coronavirus Disease 2019, sugpuin din natin ang pagkalat ng fake news. Huwag magbahagi ng impormasyon na hindi tiyak ang pinagmulan. I-check mabuti ang source ng balita. Kumuha lamang ng impormasyon mula sa mga official channel ng Department of Health. Huwag magpadala sa maling balita, basta't sama-sama at laging handa. Kaya natin to. Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Pangalagaan ang sarili laban sa Coronavirus Disease 2019. Hanggat maaari, umiwas sa mataong lugar. Iwasang hawakan ang ilong at bibig, maging malinis sa katawan at ugaliin ang wastong paghuhugas ng kamay. Takpan ang ilong at bibig kung uubo o babahing. Umiwas sa mga taong nagpapakita ng sintomas ng coronavirus disease gaya ng lagnat, ubo at sipon. Magsuot ng face mask kung kinakailangan. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa. Kaya natin to. Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Alamin kung paano ang tamang pagsusuot ng surgical mask. Una, hawakan ang mask sa strap at siguruhing natatakpan nito ang inyong bibig at ilong. Tandaan, ang may kulay na bahagi ng mask ang dapat nasa labas. Ito lamang ang tamang paraan ng pagsuot nito. Ihulma ang nose piece o maliit na metallic strip ayon sa hugis ng inyong ilong. Iwasan ang paghawak sa inyong ilong at bibig. Kung marumi na ang mask, hubarin ito gamit ang strap at itapon ito sa isang basurahan. Siguruhin ang maayos na paghuhugas ng kamay gamit ang sabon at tubig. Ang surgical mask ay dapat gamitin ng mga pasyenteng may sakit sa baga o mga taong mayroong ubo, sipon at lagnat, mga nag-aalaga sa mga may sakit, at mga healthcare at frontline workers. Maaari ring magsuot nito kung kayo ay pupunta sa matataong lugar. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to. Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
You're still watching the PNA Newsroom. For those who intend to work in the government, a 5-day government online career fair will be launched as part of the celebration of the 120th anniversary of the Philippine Civil Service. CSC Commissioner Eileen Lizada urged government agencies with vacancies to participate as the commission extended the deadline for the government agencies to register and enroll until September 10.
Good news po sa mga naghahanap ng trabaho. We have more or less 729 job vacancies involving 76 government agencies. But we have extended the deadline for the government agencies to register, to enroll, hanggang September 10 po. So, sa ibang mga ahensya ng gobyerno na gusto pang sumali, this is the time po, at least sa mga bahay ninyo, in the confines of your home, you can access jobstreet.com. This is a tie-up with jobstreet.com. The jobs fair is on September 14 to 18. Tingnan nyo lang ho doon sa jobstreet.com. Meron hong proseso on how to get it. Hopefully, we will be able to give more jobs sa mga taong naghahanap po.
Almost 3,000 workers from the different villages in the Cordillera Administrative Region will start work on Tuesday for the 2020 Census of Population and Housing. These workers were hired by the Philippine Statistics Authority for the census of the population that is conducted every 5 years and the census of housing every 10 years. PSA CAR Regional Director Villafe Alibuyog said there are also several other clerks and office-based personnel who will work for the census project. Alibuyog said the workers came from the same town where they will serve to avoid issues of quarantine and travel permits from their origin to the destination. She assured that they have set health protocols for interviews and that information obtained is strictly confidential. Alibuyog called on the public to support the census and give correct information for the sake of decision-making and the making of programs for the people. The Department of Health on Monday identified 5 hospitals and sites for clinical trials of a potential COVID-19 vaccine from China. The hospitals are the Philippine General Hospital, San Lazaro Hospital, Manila Doctors Hospital, Vicente Soto Memorial Medical Center, and the Research Institute for Tropical Medicine, or RITM. DOH Undersecretary Maria Rosario Berjeres said Sinovac is now in Phase 2 and testing already started in Brazil. She added Sinovac Biotech, the vaccine's manufacturer, is processing applications for Phase 3 clinical studies. Meantime, the confidential disclosure agreement is already final and is being studied by the country's vaccine experts. The local government of Bayongbong, Nueva Vizcaya has closed its offices amid the rising cases of COVID-19 in the province. The fishport complex in General Santos City is also closing down temporarily. More on this and other news from the provinces from Marita Moahe.
The town hall and health offices of Bayongbong, Nueva Vizcaya were locked down on Monday while thorough disinfection and contact tracing are being conducted. This after the town recorded the 4th COVID-19 fatality in the entire province. Bayongbong Mayor Ralph Alantion approved the suspension of operations upon recommendation of the Municipal Health Office. Nueva Vizcaya currently has 52 active cases, but the province would not be placed under a modified enhanced community quarantine status. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Customs in Region 10 has inaugurated its security warehouse and auction house in Cagayan de Oro City. The warehouse will house and secure seized items in all port of entries in northern Mindanao located in Uzami City, Iligan City, Macabalan Port, and Mindanao Container Terminal in Tagoloan, Misamis Oriental. The new warehouse aims to centralize the inventory of seized goods such as minerals, cigarettes, clothing products, cars, and other goods that will be either condemned or auctioned off to the public. In other news, portions of the General Santos City Fishport Complex in Barangay Tambler will be closed down for 4 days from September 2 to 5, 2020. This is to facilitate the conduct of massive contact tracing and implement decontamination measures due to the increasing COVID-19 cases among its workers and fish traders. The closure is the first since the facility opened in 1997. A number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in the city in the last 2 weeks were earlier traced to the Fishport complex. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Marita Muahe.
In our business news, more businesses in Metro Manila, Bulacan, Cavite, Laguna, and Rizal are set to open starting September 1. Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez said gyms, fitness centers, sports facilities, testing and tutorial centers, review centers, computer shops, personal care services, pet grooming services, and drive-in cinema are allowed to reopen this Tuesday. This also includes the easing of restriction for dine-in restaurants and fast food establishments where capacity is increased from 30 to 50%. The DTI chief said 94% of economic sectors are open under GCQ, but in general, only 75% of businesses are open as some of the owners opt to temporarily close their operations due to lower market demand. He said despite efforts to open the economy, they still need to strictly follow health protocols. Up next, Baguio artists honor frontliners in 8 murals. And preparations are underway for the famed Sinulog Festival in Cebu. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Tandaan ang tamang paraan ng paghuhugas at paglilinis ng kamay upang makaiwas sa iba't ibang karamdaman. Basain ng tubig ang mga kamay at sabunin. Unang sabunin ang mga palad at ang likod ng mga kamay. Kuskusin na maigi ang pagitan ng mga daliri at maging ang mga kuko. Isunod ang pagitan ng mga hinlalaki at kuskusin ng paikot ang mga dulo ng mga daliri sa magkabilang palad. Banlawang mabuti ang mga kamay sa malinis na tubig at patuyuin ang mga kamay gamit ang single-use towel o air dryer. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Alamin ang mga dapat gawin sa lugar ng trabaho laban sa Coronavirus Disease 2019. Ang mga kumpanya ay dapat magbigay ng face mask sa kanilang mga empleyado. Bukod dito, magbigay kaalaman din patungkol sa COVID-19. Siguraduhing malinis ang kapaligiran. Maglagay ng sabon at hand sanitizer sa mga palikuran. Siguraduhing ligtas at nalutong maigi ang mga pagkain sa kantina. Obserbahan ang kalusugan ng mga empleyado at katrabaho. Kung sakali man na mayroon silang sintomas ng coronavirus disease, gaya ng lagnat, ubot sipon at hirap sa paghinga, ay agad ipasuri sa doktor. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito. Alamin ang tamang paraan ng pag-ubo upang mapigilan ang paglaganap ng Coronavirus Disease 2019. Ugaliing magdala ng panyo o tissue. Kung uubo o babahing, takpan ang buong ilong at bibig gamit ang panyo o tissue. Kung walang dalang panyo o tissue, maaaring gamitin ang braso na pantakip. Kung nakararamdam na kailangan umubo o bumahing, agad na dumistansya sa mga tao sa paligid. Huwag dumura kung saan-saan, gumamit ng tissue at itapon sa basurahan. Ugaliin ang paghuhugas ng kamay at paggamit ng alcohol o hand sanitizer upang mamatay ang mikrobyo. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Isang paalala mula sa DOH, PCOO, KBP at ng himpilang ito.
Groups or individuals who buy precursor materials such as ammonium nitrate may have to be monitored to prevent them from using those materials for bomb making. Armed Forces Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Gilbert Gapay also called for the regulation on the purchase of these materials. Ammonium nitrate is used as a high nitrogen fertilizer, while its other major use is as a component of explosive mixtures. Aside from bomb-making materials, logistics and support systems, including financing of terrorist organizations, must be looked into and scrutinized more thoroughly. Gapay called on other agencies, the public, and other stakeholders to work with the AFP to put an end to this terrorism, not only in Sulu but in the entire country. He also added that terrorism is a multidimensional problem that needs the concerted effort of everyone in order to be defeated. The Mactan Cebu International Airport's dedicated COVID-19 RT-PCR testing facility is now available for departing passengers. The GMR Mega-Wide Cebu Airport Corporation, however, clarified that the RT-PCR swab testing is not mandatory for departing passengers at MCIA. The company said this service is offered to departing passengers whose intended destinations require a PCR swab test result for entry. Test results are emailed to the passenger within 48 hours. While RT-PCR swab testing can be done at any Department of Health approved facility, passengers are advised to check if the facility is approved by their intended destination. The MCIA RT-PCR testing laboratory is an approved facility of all countries with current operating flights out of MCIA. Currently, there are also a few local government units within the Philippines that require negative COVID-19 certification prior to travel. The Office of the Presidential Advisor on the Peace Process has condemned the armed attack that killed 9 people and wounded scores of others in Cabaca, North Cotabato on August 29. In a statement, Presidential Peace Advisor Carlito Galvez Jr. said the attack showed the great lengths lawless elements will go through to sow fear, anger, and discord. Galvez said the Coordinating Committee on the Cessation of Hostilities and the Ad Hoc Joint Action Group are closely coordinating with authorities who are investigating the incident. Galvez called for sobriety and restraint, saying the government will bring the perpetrators to justice. The Government Peace Implementing Panel for the Philippine Government Moro Islamic Liberation Front Peace Accord also denounced the shooting incident. Police said the victims were resting beside the highway when gunmen on separate motorbikes arrived and opened fire on them. Witnesses said one of the victims managed to return fire but was overpowered. The armed attack may have been triggered by a redo or blood feud. There is no truth to Karapatan Secretary General Cristina Palabay's claim that Zara Alvarez, who was gunned down by a still unknown assassin in Bacolod City on August 17, is a simple human rights activist. Southern Luzon Command Chief Lieutenant General Antonio Parlade Jr. identified Alvarez as a member of the New People's Army. Parlade said she joined the NPA for 2 years until 2015 when she was arrested. He said Alvarez used to be active in the Center for People's Resources and Services, a legal CPP-NPA-NDF front established to generate funding from foreign countries. Parlade also called out Palabay for claiming that the military proposal to regulate social platforms is not aimed at countering terrorism, but to censor dissent and go after legal organizations tagged as terrorists. He also scored the group for claiming that Randall Echanis, who was killed by still unknown persons in Quezon City, is a peace consultant. He claimed many peace consultants previously released have rejoined the NPA, attending plenums and planning for terroristic actions against the government. 8 local artists turned the 8 shield-shaped posts of Baguio City's Sunshine Park stage to murals honoring frontliners in celebration of the National Heroes Day Monday. Young artists Benazir Martinez, Silvino Dulnuan, Angelo Aurelio, and Pasacalye artists Joyce Malyare, Tara Natividad, Jerwin Libatique, Sonia Oyam, and Angelica Rosalin converted the shields into murals honoring the healthcare workers, policemen, and volunteers who have been at the forefront of battling COVID-19. Baguio Representative Marquez Go hailed the city's frontliners, particularly those in the 6 months that Baguio has been placed in community quarantine. Mayor Benjamin Magalong thanked all frontliners for the gift of a continued life given to all at the expense of their own. Magalong also thanked the artists who rushed their works in the last 3 days, calling them a vital part of the city as well. Sinulog Festival, one of the country's most prestigious cultural and religious festivities, is pushing through in 2021 if things normalize. Mayor Edgardo Labella expressed confidence that the situation will continue to get better after Cebu City turned into the focal point of the fight against COVID-19 in June. In 2021, aside from the 500th year anniversary celebration for Christianity in the country, Cebu will also mark the 500th year of the arrival of the image of Santo Niño de Cebu. Labella, however, said innovations will have to be introduced as means of adapting to the so-called new normal. Labella said he already asked Vice Mayor Michael Rama and the Sinulog Foundation to come up with ways to ensure the safety of foreign and local spectators of the grand activity. Sinulog Festival is held every third Sunday of January in honor of the Señor Santo Niño. Here's another look at today's biggest stories. President Duterte retains the General Community Quarantine or GCQ status for Metro Manila. The government assures accommodation for health workers being evicted due to discrimination. Former NBI Chief Dante Gierran is tasked to cleanse Philhealth and amid allegations of corruption against its leaders. And hundreds of job vacancies in the government are available in the upcoming online fair. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out more news content, check our webpage or head onto the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I am William Theo. Stay safe, everyone.